This episode of All Stars Online is brought to you by season sponsor Alpro and supported by Hamilton Beach and Da Vinci Gourmet. Hello and welcome to All Stars Online episode 4 with Natasha Shariff. Natasha, how are you today?
Good morning, I'm good. Hello everyone.
The WC All Stars are from around the world and they represent a diverse range of communities and voices. We've been collecting some short videos from many of them, so here's our intermission video.
Barista Championships is one of my favorites because I've never seen a clear platform where we can share knowledge, passion, customer service, and many more on the world stage.
The latte arts competition because I always believe that latte arts is the thing that will easily bring people into the world of specialty coffee.
Barista Championships, I think it's most related to an actual all-day cafe situation where you also have to make espressos and milk beverages, and maybe you want to have some signature drinks there as well.
Pues me gusta mucho catación porque es lo que yo he vivido y sé lo que se siente estar ahí, y pues se ve fácil pero no lo es. Además requiere mucha concentración, también de agudeza sensorial y sobre todo de decisiones rápidas.
Gotta be the barista comps because I do it. A close second is cooking with spirits because it's so much fun.
So my favorite competition is the Brewers Cup. It's been a really interesting process, competing in both Brazil and then later in Boston. It's just a lot of fun. We see a lot of innovation backstage. We see a lot of people being really good at what they do, and it's really inspiring to see.
Amo la Brewers Cup perché è una competizione minimale che si concentra principalmente sul prodotto e sulla sua esaltazione, però allo stesso tempo è una disciplina in cui la ricerca e l'innovazione sono al massimo.
My favorite competition is Coffee and Good Spirits, and maybe my second favorite is Barista competition.
My favorite competition is Brewers Cup. I think it stages the quality of the coffee best. It's really a pure comp where as a competitor you have to prove your manual skills, your precision, and where you can really showcase great coffee.
My favorite competition is Cup Tasters, and it's because it's a really fast-paced competition. There's no judge, so everything's really fair, and the most of all is I am able to connect to myself and really follow my intuition to make hopefully the right decision.
我自己最喜欢的就是 World Barista Championship 这个比赛，原因是因为我觉得这个比赛是比整个咖啡的环节，就是从生豆、烘焙到冲煮，全部都要比进去，然后我觉得困难度最高，所以也最有挑战性。
Some pretty cool mentions in there. What about for you? Which one was your favorite competition?
Well, Coffee and Good Spirits, but I do quite like Barista and Brewers Cup as well. Challenging.
Nice. Cool. In this next video, Natasha is going to show us how to make her current favorite signature beverage, Triple C, with a bit of help from Hamilton Beach Commercial and Da Vinci Gourmet. Check it out.
Hi everyone, my name is Natasha and I'm the two-time Singapore National Coffee and Good Spirits Champion and the 2017 WCIGS Finalist. So today I'm going to walk you through my signature beverage, and I think it might just be the most interesting drink I've made of 2020. So the inspiration for this drink is chai. So we're going to start with some really simple flavors that are very comforting and familiar. So first, we need some ice. So this is going to be a stirred drink. And we're going to layer some flavors as we go along. So I'm going to start out with some cold brew. I think this is the most accessible way to make a drink at home if you don't have equipment, if you don't have a coffee machine. So we're gonna do a cold brew. This is a concentrate. So we're gonna dilute it with a little bit of ice. So we're gonna do about 100 ml. And that's gonna dilute nicely. So it's gonna be a little bit easier to drink. And I've made a spiced sugar syrup. So you can use any spices you want, but again, if the inspiration is chai, I'm gonna use things like cinnamon, cloves, star anise, and I've also steeped a little bit of tea with it. So it's a simple 1-to-1 ratio. Put some nice flavors in there. Do a dash of molasses bitters, bring out some sweetness in this drink. And lastly, we're gonna do gin. So this is a spiced gin. Again, keeping the theme kind of the same, wanting to improve or work on those chai flavors. So we're doing 30 minutes. Nice and easy. So now we're gonna stir this. So the goal of stirring really is just to open up the flavors in this drink, but also open up the flavors in the gin. Give it a nice stir. So when do you stop stirring? So that's kind of a good question. So you want to stop stirring when you get a nice sort of condensation on the outside of the stirring mixing glass. But the best way to kind of know when to stop is actually just to taste it. And everyone has a different taste profile that they like better. Some might like it diluted a little bit more, some might like it a bit stronger. So it's kind of an easy way to think about it. Okay, so I've got some nice condensation on the glass. Give it a taste. So I'm gonna prep my glass with ice. Get that ready to go. Now, here comes the interesting part of the drink. Pour this out and let it sort of chill out and stay cold. We're gonna make some cheese foam. So if you live in Southeast Asia, people here love bubble tea. Now, I'm not really a bubble tea fan, but this is an interesting product. So I'm gonna add, this is a 1-to-1 ratio of milk and water. I'm gonna add a little bit of cheese foam powder. Yep, you heard me right. So we're gonna do about 2 tablespoons, which is give or take about 10 grams. This is gonna go in the blender. And we'll make a little foam. So what we're looking for is nice, light, fluffy texture. So if you foam out once and it's not foamy enough or the texture isn't right, just do it again. Here we go. So, light, foamy, cheesy. I know. totally free. So we're really just gonna pour it right over the drink. And this just brought back nightmares of Irish cup. But it just floats beautifully on the surface, just like that. This could be the next Irish coffee, I don't know. For garnish, I'm just gonna do a little bit of cinnamon sugar. Cinnamon sugar. Cinnamon sugar. Just like that. And there you have it. It's my version of chai with cheese foam. Let's give this a try. Cheers. That's good. Interesting. So, I would also recommend stirring it, since it is chai and we have milk in it. It tastes like Christmas. It tastes like eggnog. It's really, really good, actually. So, I can't get over the flavor. Again, that spice syrup really brings out that chai flavor. Hope you guys enjoyed this recipe, and hope to see you again soon. Bye. Thanks.
Well, that was cool. Very cool video.
Yeah.
And did you enjoy making that though?
Yeah, I mean, I had never worked with cheese foam before in a drink, especially. So that was an interesting experience.
Yep. What did it taste like? Was it really cheesy or?
Yeah, it's kind of, it's not like, I mean, it's not like eating a piece of cheddar. It's kind of a light foam that has like a light cheese flavor, so it's not too overpowering. So it's actually kind of good for drinks.
So it brings that sort of like savory edge to the drink.
Yeah, kind of the savory element. Yeah,
it sounds pretty good. Sounds really nice. So we're now going to go into our live Q&A section. So we're going to check out some of these questions that people have been dropping in. So let's have a look. Do you want to pick a question?
Sure. So what would you say to anyone wanting to start competing, which is the first one? And I said, just go for it. You learn so much competing, so that there's no good or bad, you know, it's kind of all good. It's all constructive feedback on how you can improve as a competitor, how you can improve your coffee game. So, yeah.
And then we've got from Janet Richardson, what is your favorite way to drink coffee?
I don't have like one favorite. I think coffee is so versatile and unique as a drink. So there's so many different ways of drinking it. You could have like you could have a coffee shake. You could have filter. You could have espresso. You could have soft serve coffee, right? So I think it really just depends on the day and the mood you're in, and where you're getting your coffee and what form it's coming in.
What about first thing in the morning? What do you make for yourself? Basically every day.
Well, filter. When I'm in the office, it's filter today. If I'm at the academy, then probably an espresso-based drink.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then from Binyo, we have, what is your favorite coffee? I guess they mean sort of origin.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, but I kind of like to stay neutral on this. I think there's so many varieties. There's so many types of coffee that it's really hard to just pick one that could be a favorite. I think every coffee is unique in its own way, whether it's got really good body or really good tasting notes, or has a really nice mouthfeel. So it's hard to really say that there's one that's the best.
Yeah, I suppose the different coffees have different pros and cons, and they fit different situations, I guess.
Yeah.
And different recipes. So we've got some more in the news section. So we've got from Roger Gallup. Hi, Natasha. Nice that you are here. Where are you in that signature drink video? It looks like a coffee playground.
It kind of is a coffee playground. That is the academy or the headquarters of Better Barista Coffee Academy. So that's actually our main bar setup.
Cool.
So there's a couple of different machines. There's a brewing station. So I was actually making drinks in front of the brewing station. Yeah, so it is a coffee playground.
Nice. Do you want to pick the next one?
Okay, let's see. How did you get into coffee from food? Don't know who that's from, but I think the transition was very natural. I've worked in food and beverage industry for a number of years. And of course, as you know, there's always coffee around. And then I worked for a company that was getting coffee from a local roastery. So that kind of piqued my interest. And that's how I got into specialty.
Mm. Yeah. And do you miss any aspect of that as well?
Yeah, I mean, food is very different from just beverage. I guess it's a little bit more hectic and crazy, and there's a lot more effort that goes into a plate of food than just a cup of coffee. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I'm going to pick one. Janet Richardson is asking, where do you get all the ideas from for your drinks?
Wow. Sometimes it just comes to me. Like I always have a notes section in my phone that I kind of just type stuff down when it comes to me. So I have a competition note, and then I have like a drink ideas note. So I'll just write stuff down when it comes to me, and then I'll just go back to it and be like, oh, I didn't do anything about that one, or I did something about that idea. So I think it's also just, when you see something interesting, take a picture. I mean, that's kind of what Instagram is for, right? You take a picture and you kind of log it digitally. So you can go back to it and look at it on another day and see like, oh, maybe I should expand on this idea. Yeah.
Cool. Would you like to pick one?
Sure.
Got lots of questions.
Yeah.
Great.
Can vegans have cheese foam, Janet? I'm gonna guess no, because the majority of these foams have some kind of milk compound in it. So I think it could be either powdered milk or something. So unfortunately, no, but maybe they could reverse engineer a vegan version.
Alpro's got to be on that soon, surely.
Yeah. What has been getting you through lockdown? Wow. So here in Singapore, we're in what we call phase 2. So we're actually able to go and dine out in restaurants or cafes, in a limited capacity. But so it hasn't been that bad. But when it was the actual lockdown, I was actually still going to work. So I was still quite sane throughout the entire period because I had stuff to do.
Yeah.
But I think, having a good coffee supply every day is very important.
True.
You need to have coffee, especially if you can't go out and get it at cafes. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the Better Barista being a B Corp. This is a big thing for companies that are interested in giving back to society. So Better Barista was actually the first registered B Corporation in Singapore. Essentially, it's kind of like a certification that you sign up for as a business. And once you get the certification, it just means that every aspect of your business is contributing or giving back to society, whether that's, recycling our coffee grounds or for us, it's playing a big part in the community where we're helping marginalized individuals get into the industry, using compostable packaging for our coffee beans and coffee pods. So those are some examples. So we were one of the first recipients, and we've been the winner of the community recipient for the past few years as well. So yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. And how long have you worked there again?
So I've been with Better Barista for almost, I think it's almost 6 years now.
Nice. I'm going to pull this one up from Nizam. Does drinking coffee from different types of cups make a difference? For example, glass, ceramic, plastic?
Yes, it actually does. You can kind of do your own experiment at home with this. with any type of coffee. Drink it out of a wine glass, drink it out of a mug, drink it out of a plastic cup. It changes the aromas that you smell in the coffee. It changes the drinking experience. It's actually quite amazing. You'll be pleasantly surprised when you do this at home, because every vessel that you drink out of is completely different. Yeah.
So interesting. And do you think about that quite a lot when preparing for your competitions as well? And how do you come to that decision?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, there's always a selection of glassware in a competition setting, especially because we have to serve a cold drink and a hot drink. So we kind of have to think about that influence of, how the shape of the glass can also define the drinking experience. So it's quite a critical decision to get the right glassware for the drink.
Do you often test out different shapes then when you prepare, when you're like, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so it's quite tedious, because you end up making so many versions of the same drink, and then you have to keep drinking it out of the different vessels, but it makes a huge difference. It sounds crazy, but you have to try it, and then you'll sort of understand. Yeah.
Cool. So we got another one from Nizam. How do you pick from 7-Eleven?
So the funny part about this is that I do actually drink quite a bit of 7-Eleven coffee.
Do you know this?
So this person's actually my brother, just So 7-Eleven coffee, yeah, this guy's my brother. Hi, brother. 7-Eleven coffee is widely available in Singapore, I'm sure, as it is in a lot of other countries. But 7-Eleven wanted to kind of up their coffee game in Singapore. So we actually kind of worked with them a little bit on creating a coffee blend for them to put through their espresso machines. So I actually do enjoy it. It's very accessible to general public. And it tastes great. It just goes to show that regardless if you're a specialty coffee player or you're a big commercial brand, everybody's out there to kind of play the market and see who's going to come get, a $2 coffee. Are you going to go to 7-Eleven or are you going to go to McDonald's? Because the difference in quality and flavor is quite apparent. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Natasha, for this Q&A. So the All-Stars program was established in 2013 to give our decorated World Coffee Championship competitors a chance to engage with, learn from, and support specialty coffee communities from around the world. The next section of our program is going to be a look back at a previous All-Stars event, and this time we're going to back to the times when we went to Johannesburg, South Africa. Now, we've been there a few times, but this is going to be a look at the few times that we've been there for a very special All-Stars event. And during those events, there was also a local deaf barista competition, and Esda Mazdam took part in judging this competition both times that she visited, and we also managed to catch up with one of the competitors too.
The first time they did the Deaf Barista competition and asked me if I could be involved because they were doing a latte art, kind of like a latte art competition with them. And I obviously say yes. I think it's been throughout my career one of the most humbling and rewarding things I've ever done. These baristas were super passionate, went through a whole training program, worked in different cafes, and yeah, all came together to do this latte art competition against each other. I remember a few. I think we had espresso, and this is macchiato. So this was a cappuccino, Americano. This was sweet, sour. So it was a lot of fun, kind of to get to know him, and every time they did something we'd clap, but obviously they can't hear the clap, so this is the visual clap. I mean, it was really a fantastic thing to do, to be able to for them to showcase their skills, to be able to do that and communicate it in their own way. It was a great experience.
I work at Hill Canyon Spa, and I've been working there for 2 years now. My favorite drink to make is red cappuccino, just by the way. I love the taste of it. Today we'll
Great, that was such a cool video and such a cool event. You've been to an All-Stars yourself as well, haven't you, Natasha? I think that was Milan, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was in Milan.
And so we just want to do a little shout out to our sponsors. This episode of All Stars Online is brought to you by season sponsor Alpro and supported by Hamilton Beach and Da Vinci Gourmet. Great, and don't forget that Natasha will be chatting with the Barista Guild on Instagram Live on Thursday the 23rd of July. So if you have any more questions about Natasha or competitions, please show up for that too. And now we're going to leave you with a special musical video from 2016 World Latte Art Champion Umpaul. It's been a real pleasure to be your host today, and I hope you enjoyed the final parts of our episode. Natasha, would you like to say goodbye?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
You look different. Nobody's saying alright no word. You think different. Nobody's saying even around me. You look same. Sometimes you smile and cry. You feel same. Sometimes you are happy and sad. You are different, and you are same. You are different, and you are same. Even you speak different words, even you love different way, even you dream different dreams, or understand what you want I feel. Yeah, this is why I sing a blues. Oh, this is why I sing a blues. This is why I sing a blues. This is why I sing a blues. Guitar.
This episode of All Stars Online is brought to you by season sponsor Alpro and supported by Hamilton Beach and Da Vinci Gourmet.